So I saw a story recently, and this happened in Maryland, which is very interesting. And apparently, this guy was protesting the gun laws. And the way he did this is he would walk around with an AR-15 near school bus stops for children and just stand there. Now, he wouldn't point the gun at the students or the children, he would point it right at the ground. So basically, by doing this, he's protesting that, hey, maybe we shouldn't allow ARs in any situation or any place. Considering if I wanted to, if I'm a deranged lunatic, then all I would have to do is point up and click. That's it. There's no cop stopping me. There's no one with a gun in my head. I'm here. Children are there. No deterrent. I can just up and click. And of course, it's Maryland, one of the more dangerous cities in terms of gun deaths in the United States of America. I'm not surprised. And I believe is an advocate for permitless carry, so he didn't have to have a permit to have this. He could just walk around with it. What it really says to me is that people don't use their brain. Because at the end of the day, this is my concern. I put out a clip saying that I don't want in permitless carry states specifically, I don't want them to have guns in like these really public areas. Now this one's even more difficult because inherently it's not like a public area where there's a guarantee of a lot of people, right? It's not like it's a mall. And the reason why I said that in those situations, I didn't think I would have to clarify myself, is because in a permitless carry state, my alternative solution would have been better security in those locations, not the security we would have now. So I'm more okay with permitless carry if a random has it versus the security we have now, because the security we have now is very inefficient or non-existent. But if we did have better security, I think that would be a better alternative, and then ban guns from these areas and then let our security handle the lunatics. In this situation, it's more like a commonplace area where it's not really public. This is you're guaranteed to see kids because it's a school stop. So what is the solution for this? Have parents show up with their own ARs waiting every morning next to the stop to make sure that no crazy person, attacks them? Have the next door neighbor who's right outside the bus stop just look out their window every morning and have an AR next to them just in case? To have the school bus driver have an AR next to them when they're driving to school. Oh, but what about if they turn on the students? Well, you're gonna have to take that risk. There's no logical solution for this issue. Now, I'm not saying it's even an issue because this is a protest. So this may not even be happening even like 0.001% of the time. But the reason why the Second Amendment is loved so much is not because guns are fun, but because of the chance the government decides to turn itself on its people. The deterrent. The chance that a criminal breaks into my house. The deterrent. The chance someone attacks me on the street with a gun. The deterrent. The guns having a gun is a deterrent, or it is a way of self-defense in these situations. So I am proposing this hypothetical based on future speculation. You said your guns will protect you in all these situations. Well, if that guy had the same right, then who's protecting the children in these commonplace areas when there's no adults involved? I just need that answer to that question. Because I think this protest really sheds lights on the gaps between this craving for guns. Like, I know people say, okay, mostly for the most part, when it comes to gun deaths in America, it's mostly handguns. So why shouldn't we ban ARs? And then someone makes the argument, well, it's mostly handguns that do this, not ARs in the first place. Why do you need an AR in public though? Like, why? A handgun is perfectly suffice to protect yourself. I would argue a taser and pepper spray are perfectly suffice to protect yourself. But at least just the handgun, pistol, revolver, Glock, whatever you want. But an AR? A gun that is used in the military to attack your insurgents? The enemy? You need an AR in public? I remember when I saw the picture. Sorry about that. I remember when I saw the picture of a guy who walked into a restaurant with an AR strapped on his back. Like, why? I'm not even against the Second Amendment. I like guns too. I think they're cool. Of course, I fired guns. And if you think I haven't, well, you just don't know me. But I'm just thinking logically that I don't need an AR in public. Who wants to see a guy walking around with an AR? You can't conceal that bitch, bro. You can't conceal it. It's not like you could conceal it in your holster, in your pants. You ain't concealing an AR. So that's just me, bro. I think the more and more we get to this point of like being obsessed with having just guns in public, the worse it will be for society. I've yet to see any proof that in every situation guns are okay. And in a situation like this, where a guy can just wield his AR-15 with no repercussion in public in these open spaces, proves as such.